In this final episode of my dance challenge, I'll show you how I built this LED light dance floor. I'll also give you some tips to avoid some mistakes that I made in the build. And at the end, I'll have a sneak peek of my next challenge. This is 90 Days and Counting. Now that I have the framing all put together, I can work on assembling the kind of grid that I'll be using as my base layer for the dance floor. I'll be using these dry core panels. They're meant for basement floors. You put this in down and there's an air gap for any water that might come into your basement that can then dry out so it doesn't ruin your floor. But I will be installing them backwards with this side up so that I can run the LED light strip along these gaps here in the board. So let's get to assembling that. So I have 4 of those panels glued together and drying now, and I want to throw some plastic sheeting down before I go any further, since this room doesn't have a concrete floor or a concrete slab under it. I should really protect it against the moisture from the ground. I also want to put the center seam in these panels right along these center joists that I put in. They do have a tongue and groove connection, but I figured if I put it over that, put the seam over those joists, it'll just be a little more stable and sturdy. So I'll throw that plastic sheeting down, glue up my other 4 panels, and connect everything. Then we'll get on to the LED light strips and the plexiglass. dance floor build is finished. If I were to ever do it again or build a bigger one, I'd certainly do some things differently. The original idea was to use a single LED light strip and have it kind of snake around the panel here. But as you saw, making that first right turn, that first 90-degree turn, it just broke in the chain there. So I had to go with 4 individual strips as a kind of quick compromise. I do believe you can buy these kits where you can connect them at right angles, and that'd probably be the way to go in the future if I were to do it again. I'd also maybe just use a sheet of plywood, a solid sheet of plywood, and cut channels for the light strips with a router or something. That'd probably be a little cleaner and give a lot more contact with the plexiglass sheet on top. And I'd also try to probably connect the plexiglass with a clear adhesive, like silicone adhesive or something, instead of trying to screw through it, because it's just so easy to crack it. I cracked it a few different times, even just drilling the pilot hole there or putting the screw in, so that's not ideal. In conclusion, with this series, the question remains, is it possible or impossible to learn to dance within 90 days? I think I proved it is very possible to learn to dance within 90 days. While I didn't overcome my fear of dancing in public in front of people, I at least made some good progress dancing in the confines of my own home, and I can live with that, I guess. I went from not really knowing how to dance at all to at least being able to string together a few moves to look somewhat competent. With this challenge officially over, it's on to the next one. And this one is right in my wheelhouse, so I'm excited to get to it. I have a short teaser of what's coming up. As always, thanks for watching. My goal is to build all new bedroom furniture within 90 days.